Hi, and welcome to our Retired Nomad Adventures.
I'm Retired Rick.
And I'm Daphne, and we are a retired couple who sold everything to travel the world full-time, staying in each new destination about a month at a time. And this month we are in Rome, Italy. So we started in Italy, we started in Venice, and from Venice we went to Florence, and then from Florence we came to Rome, and this is the last stop on this leg of our nomad adventures. And so this is a wonderful place for us to be ending our adventures. But we've been here for just over 2 weeks now, and so we'd like to share our first impressions of Rome with you. Whenever we share our first impressions, we like to share with you how we got somewhere. And so our transportation was by train. We came from Florence to Rome, and I will say that the train system here is so well developed. It's super easy to use. And
if we can do it, anybody can.
That is really true. So we took the train from Florence into Rome. It was about an hour and a half journey. We definitely booked the high speed, not the regional train. And we booked business class seats, and they weren't very much more expensive. And it gave us more leg room, gave us a little snack, and also we were able to have our luggage right there with us, which was really nice. So I highly recommend paying that little bit of extra and getting the business class seats when you're booking trains through Italy.
Now, when we arrived in Rome, it was also very easy. We got off the train and just went to where the taxis were. We had to get a little direction. It was kind of going downstairs and upstairs and stuff like that. But we were able to get the directions, and there was a long line for the taxi service. And while we were in the taxi service, we had several other taxi operators offer to pull us out of line and take us to our destination. And even though it's tempting, I wouldn't advise it because they are not regulated by the city of Rome. So they don't have to abide by all the rules, and this is where you usually get charged extra, and they don't turn on the meters or anything like that. So just stay in line for the extra 20 minutes, and you will get to where you need to go, and it's very easy.
Yeah, so we highly recommend don't hop out of line with them. And that line, it looked really long. It was intimidating when we came out, but it moved really quickly. So use a licensed taxi driver in Italy. And then the next is our accommodations. And so we booked an Airbnb here in Rome. And just like in Florence, the prices were a little high. And so we booked ourselves in what's called the San Saba area. And this area is beautiful. Like, it's leafy and green. It's residential. It feels a little like an elevated area. It's really beautiful. So one of the things that we do love is the area that we're in. The actual Airbnb is very small. I think actually this is the smallest Airbnb we've ever booked.
It is small.
And we really feel that in the bathroom and in the kitchen. So one of us has to cook and one of us has to clean because we both can't be in there at the same time. And heaven forbid in the shower you drop anything.
You have to be good with picking stuff up with your toes.
Yes. So it's definitely a very small Airbnb. We got a great price on it though. So let's see. We're staying here for 29 nights, and the total cost
29 and a half.
That's right, for our budgeting. So the total cost for the 29 nights was $2,166. And that was with a monthly discount of $1,825. So that was a significant discount. And our total cost ended up only being about $75 a night. So that was great.
And our Airbnb is about a mile and a half from the center of town, so it's the perfect distance for us to be able to walk and be right into town within 30 minutes. So
well, and I'll say that's something in terms of Rome that I really was surprised by. Like, I thought we were going to have to take transportation to many of the sites that we wanted to see. And even though we're sort of a mile and a half out of town, anywhere we want to go is about... It's about 2 miles. So we have about a 2-mile walk in different directions to all of the sites we want to go. The farthest place we've ever gone is 2.5 miles, and that was to the Vatican. And most places are somewhere in between that. And so so this location is fantastic.
And what's nice is when you're walking in a new place, it doesn't feel like a mile or 2 miles or a mile and a half. It's enjoyable. You see different attractions wherever you're at, and whatever direction you're going, you're going to come across some historical site.
Well, especially here, like, so you're walking and then there's just ruins. Like, there's ruins that are there and they're protected. And I think my phone is like barking at me saying, I'm full, because there's just beauty everywhere here. There's the Tiber River, just that runs right. So lots of our walk walks are along the river. It just is really incredible. And so this location for us has been perfect. Mm-hmm. And in Florence, all the major attractions are in about a 20-minute radius from each other. Here, things are a farther distance from each other, but we tend to choose like a few attractions or things that are clustered together each day. And it really is about a half an hour walk to whatever we want to get to.
And it's very wide and open. So the sidewalks are wide, easy to get around, and you don't feel like everything's kind of caving in on you. Everything's wide. The roads are wide. It just feels comfortable when you're walking.
There was that book that talked about like the happiest places for people to live, and so they talked about like wide sidewalks being something you want to look at and look for in a place that you want to stay. And the sidewalks here are beautifully wide. The streets are wide. It's so green. Like I think when we first got here, we couldn't breathe. We couldn't believe like how we could just like sort of breathe in here. So Rome has really surprised me in how livable it is. Like it feels wonderful. So cycling back to the Airbnb. So this Airbnb is not one, typically if we like an Airbnb where we give you a link in case you're interested at all. This isn't one we're going to put a link to. There's sort of a moisture issue in the house, and it's just not one, there's nothing terrible about it, but it's not one that we're going to put down and recommend. But I will say that the San Saba area in Rome is an area that I would totally recommend.
And don't get us wrong, the Airbnb we're able to do, it meets our needs. We're able to cook, we're able to take showers, we're able to have a work area, we're able to have a sitting area that's comfortable, mm-hmm. and the beds are comfortable. So it meets our needs, but it is very small, and there are things that kind of put us off about the Airbnb, but not enough for us to move.
Right. And because we're here for a longer stay, grocery stores are always really important to us. And so the two most common grocery stores we've been seeing here are the Carrefour Express and then the Conad. And we have both of those within about a half a mile of us. What we like about the Carrefour Express is that it really does have a beautiful big fresh fruit and vegetable section. You can kind of get almost anything that you need there. It's a big proper grocery store.
And if you want fish, they have a section with frozen fish fillets, different type of fish that you just weigh out just like you would do with your vegetables, weigh out, bag them, and pay for it. They give you a little sticker and you're on your way. So it was kind of nice.
It's a huge room. Like I haven't seen something like that before. And so kind of any kind of fish, and you can get it in the quantity you want.
Right.
And then the prices for things, we haven't shopped groceries in the United States in a little while, but I think they're pretty comparable. So we took down a few prices for you. So bread is about $2 a loaf, but that's for the store brand. How much are, let's see, eggs are $3, but that's for 10.
And that's for 10.
Yeah. A liter of milk is about $2. A single serving bottle of Diet Coke is $2. And then we have a favorite brand of chips here. Like we have been addicted to these chips, and the bag of chips is about $5, but that's sort of a...
Well, I don't know how it happens, but somehow they find their way into the basket. I don't put them in there, and Daphne says she doesn't put them in there, so I don't know. It might be something the store does.
Yeah, but the brand is delicious. So about $5 for the bag of chips. And then where the real bargain is of course with the wine. And so we're paying about $3. No matter what store we go to, we're paying about $3 for a really nice bottle of red wine. And I know that there are some people who are, very elevated with their wine experience, and I know they're probably horrified by that, but I'm telling you, it's not like good for a $3 bottle of wine. Like it's just great wine.
If a bottle of wine is bad and we tell you it's bad, you know it's bad. But we have not found a bad bottle of wine here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And at the restaurants we go to, we tend to get a half liter. The house wine half liter. It's like, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 euro something for what feels like a full bottle of wine to us, because we get 4 glasses out of that half liter, and it's delicious. So you really can't go wrong with the wine here. So that's the grocery shopping. And then especially coming from Florence, I was also curious what the regular shopping was like here. And it's interesting because in Florence, it felt like shopping was sort of one
everywhere.
of the, it was like the main point. And here the attractions feel like the main point. Like there is shopping to be had for sure. So don't get me wrong. If you're coming to Rome and you want to shop, you're going to be able to. But it doesn't feel, it's sort of
not as prevalent here.
No, it's like an aside. And really the history and all of the beautiful museums and, the monuments and all of those things feel like the star of the show here. Shopping isn't the point. It doesn't feel to me in Rome. So then the next thing we look at is what is there to do in a place? And since we're spending a month, are we going to get bored when we're here? And wow, no, exclamation mark. Like Rome is such
filled with history. It's crazy.
Everything from the Colosseum to the Vatican and all of the things in between. It's so interesting. Next week, we're going to share with you kind of how we plan our time. So since we're somewhere for 30 days, like how do we sort of pace ourselves and get to see all of the things? So we're going to kind of take you through our calendar and all of the different ways we make sure that we get to all of the things that we need to see and still do it on a budget. But we're not going to get to all of the things because there is so much to see and to do here. So in Rome, we don't have to tell you all that there is, but there
definitely stuff to do
every day. And every day we're so excited to go out and see this next new thing. Now, we do want to give one word of caution, though. So all of the major sites, so we're here in October. So we're here for the full month of October. In fact, we're not even going home until November. And so we're here in what I would say is at least a shoulder season, but it sure doesn't seem like it. Around the major sites, there are lots of crowds and also really lots of long lines. And so we really want to recommend that you book your admissions to whatever sites you want to see early. And we had heard that advice and we thought, okay, well, as long as we book them online, we'll be fine. But no, if they are available to book tickets a month in advance, book your tickets a month in advance, because we almost didn't get to go to the Colosseum.
Right, we thought we had plenty of time. We were looking for tickets, and we could not find tickets. And our best advice was just every morning at 8 o'clock, check to see if someone canceled. And after about 4 or 5 days, someone did cancel or there was tickets available, and we're able to go to the Colosseum. So once you book your Airbnb in Rome, also book your
tickets. Book whatever
tickets.
You can and set in your calendar, like whenever the tickets will become available, because the tickets have been sold out. And then our options were booking through places like Viator or Klook, and I was really surprised that they also were very limited in their tickets. And we were looking at a ticket, so our tickets to the Colosseum for both of us were about €50. I'm not sure that that's right, but somewhere around there. And we were looking at like €600 booking through one of those other sites. So you're talking a significant difference, and if it's a place you really want to see, you might consider paying that $600 unless you get yourself your tickets booked early. Then our next thing that we always look at is what's the food scene like here?
Pizza and pasta. Fantastic.
Rick's favorite thing in the world. So yes, lots of pizza, lots of delicious pasta. Throw a dart and you're going to find a great place. I will say that the gelato here was fantastic. We went to a place that everybody says you have to go to called, I think it's called Limone. And they put your gelato in a lemon, and the choices for the gelato are all different kinds of lemon sorbet to lemon custard and
tourist trap.
Delicious, but it's a tourist trap for a reason. I disagree. It was delicious. So you have to try that. And then they have something called supplì, Suppli, and so it's kind of a fried rice ball with cheese. Delicious. So there are some things specific to Rome, and the Roman pizza isn't typically, we've been getting the proper big pizzas, but you can buy pizzas by the slices here or by the square here. So the food scene is incredible. Then the next thing we take a look at is how easy is it to sort of access personal care kinds of things and how much do they cost? And
I already had a haircut. Right down from our Airbnb, there was one for €25, but as we walk about a half mile away, there was one for €10. Set it on the window, everything. So we just go in there. We didn't ask for the price. We just sat down.
Because it said it on the window.
It said it on the window. Great job. The guy did a great job. Very nice. When we were done, I asked politely, how much, and he said €15. Well, it kind of took me back, and luckily he had the price posted, so I just pointed and I said, well, you advertise only €10, and he kind of smiled and was like, oh, okay, 10. So just be careful, just know what you're paying. It sounds like there's a tourist price and a regular price, but luckily, if they're posted, you'll get it for that posted price, but just be aware of it. And for some reason, I thought that was going to happen, but for €10, I got a haircut. It was posted €10, and the guy did a really good job, and I will end up going back to him. And I just wonder if he's going to try to charge me €15 again.
Well, I think the thing that's interesting is normally you ask, like, how much is a haircut? But this time we just didn't because it was posted on the door. So now we just know when we go in, we'll just say how much. And so we can agree to the price before.
Good first impressions.
Before he gets going. And then for me, for personal care, you can kind of get everything here. So the pharmacies are filled with, all kinds of lotions and potions. The prices, though, I've heard that, like, the Italian pharmacy prices are really inexpensive. I haven't found that to be the case. I think that everything is pretty comparably priced to what you can get back in the States, but you can get what you need here. And so I feel like for me, the personal care is easy. Like, I bought a bottle of vitamin E oil yesterday. It was like €16 for a 1 ounce bottle. So I think that's pretty comparable. Then we're going to add a little something into personal care that we don't normally talk about because we don't normally have it. When we were in Turkey, I had to go get an x-ray on my tailbone because I'd injured my tailbone. It still hurts, by the way. And I don't think I've ever had an x-ray since I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. I broke my leg when I was a little girl. And ever since then, I've never had an x-ray. But now, in this little travel leg, I've gone for 2 x-rays. So I injured my arm. And so it's been really hurting. And so we went in to get an x-ray for that. And we went into an international hospital here. Super easy. We walked in. We didn't have an appointment. They sent us to what they call sort of the first aid station, which I guess would be like their urgent care or their emergency room. They took a 1-sheet form from me. They just asked for my name, my email address, and my phone number, basically. And then, of course, gave them my passport. And then we have
insurance information.
And we have the Cigna Silver plan, Cigna Global. So we waited just for a little bit. We were able to see an orthopedic doctor. He would like to have done an MRI, wasn't able to, but was able to get an x-ray today. He gave me a cortisone shot and then recommended I follow back up with an MRI. Either we put an email into them to see if we could get it here. And the reason we did that was because when we went to pay, so remember, I got an x-ray, I got to meet with the doctor and a cortisone shot. And so we went to see how much we owed.
And that the receptionist was on the phone, called our insurance company, and then just said, all you owe is €2 today. Now, we paid the €2 and that was it. So, and the €2 was an administrative cost for the government taxes for the paperwork that they did. And that was it. So I'm still confused. I don't know if our insurance is going to charge us or if we're going to get a bill, but we left the hospital just paying €2.
Yeah. So we then emailed to see if we could possibly get the MRI done here instead of at home because we're thinking that the cost will be significantly better. Now, I will say before I went to the doctors, we had bought a lot of, things like ibuprofen and then like spray on ibuprofen and that kind of thing. And I feel like the medicines here are a little more expensive or maybe the same price as home. So right. I do feel like, these things cost more, but wow, that visit was fantastic.
It was amazing and it was very easy. So don't worry about getting injured while you're on the road, at least in Rome, because you can be seen by a hospital or a doctor.
We hope you don't need it, but if you do, it's not too hard to be able to be seen. All right, so that's sort of all of the things we like to talk about, and now we're down to what are our overall first impressions of Rome. So how about you?
I like the openness of it, the wide streets, the wide sidewalks. There's a lot of people, but it doesn't feel like a lot of people because you're able to move around and stuff like that. But you feel comfortable as you're walking, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah. And so I'd say the only place where it does feel crowded are in those like really concentrated areas, like by the Colosseum or by the Vatican, sort of at those hot spots. But then the rest of it's like the most relaxed big city I feel like we've ever been in. It feels, when you're walking around, you just feel nice and peaceful. Now, I will say when you're walking around, you do have to be careful. The streets are cobblestoney. If you do have any mobility issues, you probably want to send somebody out to scout the route first to make sure it's a place you're going to be able to walk. But overall, I just feel really peaceful and really relaxed here. And it was so surprising. Coming from Florence, there's a hustle and a bustle to it. But the historic nature of Florence was so grand and so fabulous, I was sort of thinking I might be a little disappointed with Rome, and I feel like the opposite. I've been super impressed.
Very impressed with Rome. One thing to be aware of when you're walking, be aware of your surroundings because the other people, the residents and stuff, will not move for you. And they'll see you and just be aware of that. So You might have to step out in traffic to avoid hitting somebody, smack right into them, but they will not move. You will have to move.
That's true. That's true.
We've tested it.
So overall, really impressed with Rome. Very surprised. And not that I thought it was going to be anything other than fabulous, but it's fabulous in a way that's even nicer than I expected. All right, so we have a couple of people we want to be sure to thank today. And so we want to start by saying thank you to Sharon and Tony. You gave us 3 coffees.
This is like the second or third time that you've given us coffees, so thank you very much.
We really appreciate it. And we've had some delicious
Yes.
coffees here. And then Lisa, thank you so much for sending us a coffee.
Also, Lisa, this is your second time of giving us coffee, so thank you very much.
We really appreciate it. And then we hope that you join us next week, because next week we're going to take you through sort of how we plan a 30-day stay, and then we're going to take you through the different activities that we've done while we've been here, and kind of how we plot that out and save money while we're doing it. But until then, bye.